Hi, my name is Curtis Everett from Saint Studios Films, and I wanted to do kind of a before the production interview on what I'm about to do. So, I have made a lot of movies over the years, and so usually the early part of the year, January through about mid March, we'll take some sort of break. Actually, it's usually from like the end of November all the way through mid March. We'll take a break because a lot of people are busy during that time because of Thanksgiving or Christmas holidays. And then January and February, it's usually too cold to really do anything. But over the past few years, people have kind of challenged me to make various productions. So last year we did a movie called Boxing Clown. We did that in January when it was very, very cold. And then February we did a movie called Floor Six, which was really good. And I enjoyed working on both of those films. So one thing I wanted to push the envelope on last year was using my phone to make more movies, and so this year we're also going to be doing that a little bit. And so instead of just doing it, I'm going to show you how I do it, so that anybody who wants to just get started with filmmaking can, get going. Come this summer, I'll have been making movies for 20 years, and so phones have really come a long way since when I started. When I started doing filmmaking, everything was really DV tapes, mini DV tapes, and cell phones were like flip phones, so they didn't have very good cameras on them. You could not make an entire movie on them. But nowadays, cell phones will shoot on pretty much Blu ray quality video, and usually they have really good stabilizers in them, pretty decent microphones in the cell phones. So my model that I have is the Google Pixel 5. I should be upgrading hopefully sometime either this year or next year, trading this one in and getting a new upgraded phone. And Google to me just has a really good product, and it's not as much as an Apple phone. So all those Apple products are very much, you're paying for the name. You're paying for the name brand Apple products. And so, anyway, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what I'm going to be making here today. So, the movie that I'm going to be making, I've had this story in my mind for a while. I was trying to think of a way I could do a one man show because that's something I've really been interested in, trying to do stories that are simpler with less locations, with less people, so you have more character. And so, this particular movie is going to be about a hitman, and so the hitman is waiting on his mark to get home. And so he gets to this guy's house, and the guy's just taking forever to get there. So in that time, we're going to learn a lot about our hitman and what he's up to, who he is, his personal life. And so I obviously will be playing the hitman because, we're going to shoot it here at my home, St. Studios Films in Pelahatchie. So let me walk you through a few of the things that I have to do this film. I mean, obviously, we're using my house as the set. So what I have here is just a very basic tripod. I bought the cheapest tripod that I could find, and I have this little phone thing on the top. I think I've had that for a while, but it's just a spring loaded. You put your phone in here, and so that'll hold it. So we're using this for our static shots. And then for the shots where we're moving, I'll be using this. This is a slightly more expensive because it's a full metal phone clip, and you put your phone in there and it holds it pretty well, and it has these little knobs here. But you can buy this from Best Buy. And this is actually usually an entire circle. I got to find the other piece that makes it the whole circle. I used one of these on Jeremy Limbaugh's set, and I really enjoyed it, so I got one of my own. But this particular gadget is really, really useful. And then one thing that's very important if you're filming with your phone, not the fanny pack, but what's inside of it. So we have these battery banks. So the thing is, I have about 3 or 4 battery banks in here. One thing about making a movie on your phone is that you are going to be using up quite a bit of power and memory. So make sure you have a decent amount of memory on your phone. Otherwise, you'll find yourself, when you're shooting, having to go and through and delete stuff. This is a firearm I've had for years. We bought this years and years ago for a production called The Intimidation Game. And so it is actually a blank firing gun. We've shot all the blanks for it. I could order some more I'll just be using it, in character. And then I have to show you. So every movie that I make, I try to buy at least one new prop to use for the movie. And so since I've been doing more acting in some of these productions and stuff, one thing that I really like to get, because it helps me a lot learning about the characters, is I like to get different kinds of glasses or sunglasses. So for the assassin wear, I had originally gotten these for a different production, but it turns out I'm going to play the character, and I'm writing a little bit differently. I'm going to play the character a little bit differently for Queen Dracula Sucks Again, which is a sequel we have coming up. But I bought these really sweet shades. And so these are my assassin glasses. And when I bought them online, they actually, I think, had a picture, or the description. They said, "Oh, these are from Leon the Professional." I said, okay, all right. So just wearing these has already gotten me into character a lot better. And so I'll be using a few other costume pieces to complete my ensemble. But anyway, I have an idea of where the script is going and what's going to go on in this movie, but I have not laid everything out. So what I'm going to do is just start filming this thing, and hopefully it turns out pretty good. I'm going to fly by wire, and sometimes those are some of the most creative, best things you can do. But anyway, hopefully I break a leg doing this production. And if you have not done improv like this before, I would not recommend just trying to wing an entire movie with a cell phone. The thing about winging is you have to be pretty good with improv, and it helps, honestly, if you write an outline and go from an outline. So what's going to happen is I'm going to have to wing this movie, and then I'm going to go ahead and watch the clips, and there's going to be certain scenes where there are conversations, and so I have to notate what I say during the conversation and come up with an appropriate response for other actors to say, because I am going to have other actors voice acting or physically acting in this film, doing remote filming. And that's something that's a really great resource to have when you have performers that help you out like that, and they film parts and they send them to you. So it's really cool to be able to have that in your arsenal, people who will self-tape for you and send you high-quality acting to put in your film. And that's an easy credit for them, and it gives you more faces and more variety to your production. Anyway, so I'm about to go make a movie, No One Here. All right, so I'm about halfway through production. I decided to take a little break. So it's going so far so good. It's interesting because I have dialogue scenes, and I know I'll have other people doing the dialogue later, but how I'm doing these scenes is I'm basically talking to myself in different personalities. From what I hear, he has not been fighting at school as much as he usually has, so that's always a relief. Yeah, it's not good to fight. You always had violent tendencies as a boy. Yeah, I know. Then what I'll go and do is transcribe those conversations later and then send that dialogue to other people to do. So anyway, I kind of left it at a spot where I could shift from day to nighttime, and I had to take a trailer back. I moved some firewood today, and so I'm going to go get some dinner while the nightfall is falling, and I'm going to get some dinner, and then I'll go back to the house, and I will try to finish it all up. I might leave some areas in there to where I could potentially expand it if I wanted to, and then also the story might continue after the house. We'll just see how everything goes, and if we get everything put together, how it looks. And it's one of those things, when you start being creative, you want to keep being creative. So I've tried to shoot plenty of angles. I've tried to be creative with the way I'm using these angles. That's the great thing about filming with your phone, is it's so small and versatile. You can, really move it anywhere you want to. And so I've been getting a lot of interesting angles, some of them like video game point of view, which is interesting. And, if I have any movement with the camera, I'm having to move the camera myself because I didn't have any help with this movie. This is just a movie I'm trying to do on my own. I'm trying to act in it on my own, and I'm trying to crew it on my own. So obviously people who are self-taping, they'll be doing it themselves and sending it to me. But as for now, it's just me. So when I get back, I'm going to pick up where I left off, and I'll let you know how it all ends up. So I just finished up filming at my house, and I'm exhausted because I did a shootout with myself because I didn't have anybody else. So I dressed up in 2 different costumes, and that was a little bit crazy on the planning and the logistics and such. But I figured it out, and I'm going to send some of these shots over to my special effects guy to get some really good special effects on there. Anyway, what's cool now is I don't actually have to sit down and transfer all of my stuff. What's happening is it's automatically being uploaded to Google Photos. And so I'm able to go in and download all of that because my phone automatically does that. I think if you get the app and you don't have a Google phone, you can set it up to where it automatically backs up all the stuff on your phone. So what I have to do now is I have to go in to Google Photos on my computer and just download all these high quality video files, put them on my hard drive, and then just get them ready to edit. And once we do that, we'll see how much footage we have. I'll type up all of my stuff to send to my collaborators to get them to put their scenes in there. I have a scene for somebody named Jeremy, who is kind of like the fixer. He helps, with getting different weapons and stuff. So that's a character. And then there's my ex-wife is a character. And so she's going to, that's going to be Mel Heflin. She's excited about this part. And then I actually wrote a part for my father, who's going to be played by Joey Trawick, who calls me on the phone. And then there's going to be this voice in my ear the whole movie kind of telling me what to do and stuff in my microphone, my walkie-talkie. And so that person, I'm going to send it over to Kevin Gaddy, who does a lot of good voiceover work for me. So hopefully he'll be excited about, lending his voice to this movie. I actually truncated a lot of my ideas. I might still expand. There's ways to expand. I still have the costume, obviously. So we'll see how much footage we shot today, whether or not we need to add anything else. And stay tuned. I just wanted to keep y'all up to date and have this kind of video journal for the production on No One Here.